Okay, we're going to be looking at dollar yen grid here. And what I want to do at this point in time is give you heads up at what I'm looking at and why I'm considering taking a sell position off of this 32, 102, 32, 60-minute roadblock. I would consider this a 4-column roadblock between 102.32 and the 15-minute at 102.38. And one of the rules that I look for to take this position is I want to have a 20-point gap between my 1-minute box and my 60-minute box. And at this point in time, between 17 and 32, I do not have enough of the 20-point rule or 20-point gap. So my next level would be up here, 38. 38 would be the level that I'm going to look for to take a short off of this position. Now, what we're going to have to do is allow this to develop. You got to give this time, because you're going to find out that as we hold this level here, the 1 minute continues to recalculate. The higher the 1 minute recalculates, the more I'm going to need to give it room in order to have the 20-point gap that I want to have to take this position. But I would consider this a 4-column roadblock up here. And the other thing I'm going to look at to give me heads up of also of what I would expect out of this trade is that we're close to big figure 102.50. You can see here 102.48, and in just a moment you're going to see on the 5-minute box we're going to see 102.53. I know this is big figure. I know this will act as an area of resistance. And so what I'm kind of anticipating at this time while I wait for this trade to develop is that if we do get up here, I'm going to try to find the best entry. And the best entry at that point in time is going to be at least 20 points between my entry and my 1-minute box. Now, it's very important that as you do your homework here, I mean, we could speed this up so that you could see it develop quickly. But I want you to start getting used to understanding how these grids constantly recalculate themselves. And so that recalculation, you've got to get used to seeing things, because what seems like a trade at this time, you're going to see that as it continues to recalculate, I've got to make adjustments. And so it's important you guys start to learn how to make those adjustments. Okay, notice now in your dollar yen how we will see a 60-minute recalculate itself from 32 to 27. It's important you see these things happening. So you can see how these recalculations, there you go. You see it? It was at 102.32, and look at it now at 27. So our landscape has changed. So now what I'm looking at is, okay, I have more room between 27, my 60-minute, and my 15-minute box at 38. I still like this trade, and I still think this trade will work out. But I'm going to let this trade overshoot its first target of 27 and go way above. There it goes, okay? I'm going to look for at least 20-point gaps from my entry point to my 1 minute at this point in time. And I'm going to use the other thing that we can't see here, but it's big figure at 102.50. You know, we don't really have a lot of points there, but if you notice on the 15-minute box we have a 102.47, and on a 5-minute 102.53. I'm going to use those 2 points as levels of resistance and big figure 50 to tell me if we go beyond these points, then I'm going to close my position and take my loss. That'll be, you know, what sets the loss at this time. But what I know for a fact is we've overshot the 1 hour, and at some point in time we're going to come back to that 1 hour box, and that'll be my target. So what I want now is to find the best entry possible between this 15-minute box and the 1 hour. So I'm going to kind of let it shoot above the 15-minute box, and you're going to see that at one time in just a moment we're going to get the potential to sell our position off of 45, 46, I believe, and that's where I took positions, and then I played it back to the 1 hour box and the 1 minute box, and those were my target areas to bail out, and it was a very profitable trade. There we go. Okay, at this point in time you can choose to take an entry here, but as I can see, it still has a little bit of momentum to the upside. I'm looking at it now, and it's at 42, 43, so I'm ready to take a trade here. I see it at 45, close enough to my next 47 target, and here it is. I take my entry. There it is. I'm selling it at this point in time. Okay, and I'm saying, well, if it goes above 53, then it's not going to work. I'm going to get out of it with a minimal loss. But if it does work, again, I have almost a 1-to-1 ratio, because I expect it to come back down to the 1 hour box at this point in time. And worst case scenario, if it's not the 1 hour box, definitely the 15-minute box. But I really think I still can give it a shot, and wherever my 1-minute box is at, that's where really where I think I can use as another target. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to stay focused on our 60-minute box and our 1-minute box. Look at our 1-minute box has recalculated up to 102.21, and I keep a very close look at that, because the faster that recalculates itself and pushes towards our 60-minute box, the more it tells me that there's upward pressure. There's a lot of dollar buying. So there it is. You see it at 22. Okay, so we're still okay. We can still give this thing a chance to come down. But immediately, once I come down close to where I can get 10 points out of this trade, I'll start to cash out on a portion of the position, and then I'll allow the remainder of the position to work its way down to the 1-hour box, and 1-hour box to 1-minute box. Again, if that 1-minute box, to me, it's already too close to the 60-minute box, so I'm not going to get too greedy, and I'm not going to turn down 15 points. I'm not going to let that get away from me. So again, that's one of the things you always have to keep in mind, that greed, you must control greed, and it's you're going to find out that most of these trades sometimes can produce for you a lot more than 10, 12 points. In fact, in some instances, they can produce up to 50, 60, 80 points. But more often than not, if you take your 10, 12 points with consistency, you'll find that you can build a very healthy account. So what? If you don't catch the 50, 60, 80 point moves, but you're going to find out in the long term, you will position yourself mentally so that, again, you benefit more often than you start to try to get used to trying to catch big moves out of these things. So you'll see it kind of work its way down. You got to be patient now, but you'll start to see a little bit of the process, how slowly you see it working its way out. And the reason I'm going to leave this thing and play itself out is, again, you've got to get used to letting these trades develop in real time and learn from real time how to be patient and see the way these trades move. It is so important that you guys understand how to see and get a feel for these trades and how they develop and how they work in real time. So part of your homework is to be patient. Sit and wait wait it out. Look at what's happening right now, okay? See, this is the first area. As it comes down to 32, I'm going to start taking profits here because I already have 10 points to take. And for all intents and purposes, I may not come down to the 1-hour box. Look at the 1-minute box. Look at it where it's at 24. It's pushing hard up to the upside. So I may run out of room. So here I'm cashing out. Now I'm going to cash out. Here we go. As soon as I get down to this level 27 here, I'll cash out at my other position. Okay? And in fact, it comes down, and I think it hits the 1-minute box, and then it bounces back up again. But, this is how you manage these positions. So, again, here I'm already, there we go. I'm cashing out on the remainder of my position. That's good enough for me, and I'm done.